what is. I craft what shall be. Time, cause, effect. What else to fill the dark? I need self. Selves. I need other selves. I'm Justin Rose, the author of the project, and you are.
My name is Sam Edgcomb.
And you played Gaudrey and Faeja, and then an assortment of kind of like background characters and stuff. Where are you from?
I live in Prince Edward Island, Canada. Tiny, tiny little island in the Maritimes.
Okay, cool. I think I actually went to college with somebody who's from that area. I can't say for sure on the name of the island, but I know it was one of those smaller islands out on the out on the western coast. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
we get around.
Yeah. So how long you been acting?
Uh, I started doing community theater when I was 15, so oh gosh, my math. It's a little over 7 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what got you into it?
I wanted to. I'd had a fascination with film and acting and theater and stuff since I was probably like 5 years old. I was a kid that said I wanted to be an actor and pretty much stuck with it the whole way. I just didn't have many
Way to go!
opportunities. Yeah. So yeah, I just fell in love with it when I was a kid and I just wanted to do it. I love telling stories. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and stuff
Oh,
now.
sure.
Just yeah, just love telling stories.
Nice. And have you been able to take any like classes or anything, or like as far as even
Uh
college, like anything like that for
yeah,
acting? Or
I was accepted to like the Vancouver Film School for acting. I didn't end up going, which was a great call because I would have gotten stuck there during COVID.
yeah,
But other than that, I've done like workshops and I consume as many like movies and interviews with actors as I can and stuff like that. So I'm a little more self-taught and figuring it out as I go.
cool. Have you done any kind of like dramatic work like this before? Not necessarily just specifically audio drama, but like what sort of character work have you done?
Um like proper like big projects like this one, not so much, but I'm looking into founding like a Shakespeare company here on the island where I live and stuff like that. So like I've really loved doing dramatic work and especially character work. I feel most comfortable probably when I'm entrenched in a more dramatic character. I feel like
Okay.
I get better results that way than just being myself, which I should probably look into. But yeah, yeah, it's like dramatic work and stuff like that. While I love comedy, it's probably where I'm feel most naturally comfortable.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't really look at the ages on the profiles usually. I just kind of, just gauge based off of the photos. But when I was getting ready for this interview, I realized, oh, you're probably actually one of the youngest guys in the project. And yet the two roles that I had you for were like, the king
Yeah,
and the god of all creation. So that says a lot about your vocal range and your kind of quality of delivery that you're able to get those two roles done so well.
thank you.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm
So I think
only 22 right now, so I'm very often the youngest in the troops that I work with.
that's cool about the, Shakespeare Company idea too. Like, I am a huge, huge fan of Shakespeare, and, the style of this production is obviously more skewed towards realism, but, I hired one guy who's like a, Shakespearean actor from London, and, some of the a couple of parts in this are intentionally dramatic, so there's, like, a bard who does, like, dramatic readings and stuff, and so I was, like, super thrilled to get kinda, like, that Shakespearean quality from that one person. It kinda snuck in there a little bit 'cause
For
I
sure,
I'm
for sure.
I'm a sucker for that,
Yeah.
kinda
If it's the
elevated play style.
if it's the part I thinking of, I think I actually have a scene with the bard in this,
Yes, you
production.
do, yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah. No, yeah,
exactly,
it's a huge, long, like, yeah, block of text that he does that's this, like,
yep,
yeah, grand tale, yeah. That's awesome. I'm excited
yeah.
to hear that when it's finished.
So, I think you're the only person who I hired who has 2 roles as large as the ones you do. So like Gaudrey and Faeja are both in the top 10 for like just word count, I think. And it worked kind of nice though, because with the kind of parallel timelines, the present time and then going back to Gaudry's time, they they never actually share screen time, so that's nice. But
Yeah.
which one did you enjoy doing more?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. They're both very interesting in their own rights. I really enjoy doing the voice that I do for Phaedra. Just because it's the easiest for me to listen back to when cleaning up like all the little mistakes in the recording, because it sounds the least like me in my own head. But if I'm being honest, I think that the character of Gaudry is so well written and so beautiful, in just like the struggle that he deals with between having to be this sort of hard fist at times in these revolts and these dark times for his kingdom, while still being this person that very much so is a very gentle soul at heart. I mean, I there's multiple scenes where I had to cry and I actually started like tearing up and stuff
Oh, that
doing
makes
them
me
just
feel
because
wonderful.
yeah, no, it's beautifully written, Justin. Um yeah, I just think the emotional flow of Gaudry is a lot easier to get into, and get immersed in, a little bit more than Phaeja, who is this such an otherworldly god of all gods, just like unfazed by most things. Yeah.
We went through a lot of people for Gaudry. Like a number of these roles, it was like, the second or third person I talked to was like, or even a couple of them, like the first person I talked to worked. But then there were two in particular that it was tough, and that was Ingwe, who I expected that one to be tough, but then also Gaudry. I went through a lot of people, and the thing was, like you said, he has a balancing act between kind of that gentleness and then the hard scenes that are required. And a lot of people tended to take him to either like an extreme in the like the emotional scene where he's kind of in the storm and he's like, lecturing the assembled group of prisoners. It either got so extreme that they kind of ignored his humanity and weariness there, or else he would sound kind of just like kind of stuffy and haughty. But with
Right.
your delivery, I was very pleased that you were able to kind of retain his weariness and his humanity in those intense scenes, while also delivering kind of the higher aspects. So I was very pleased I was able to find you for that because did a fine job on that.
Thank you. I remember when auditioning for it, we went through you had to have me record that one a couple different times, I think, just because I like wasn't quite like reaching the level of heights, and then like I was taking too low. So yeah, it's a very dynamic scene and a good call on making that one the one to be your sort of ticket to find whoever you needed, because that's definitely the
Yeah.
biggest one.
Yeah, with those trouble roles, Gaudry and Ingwe, I found pretty quickly that I was like, okay, I've got these specific scenes to highlight kind of the different extremes, and those were the ones that I really used as a litmus test for like figuring out who had the best approach.
Yeah.
So your take on Phaedra was actually very different from what I envisioned for the character originally,
Okay.
and I liked it. But I was kind of picturing that as more kind of smooth toned, kind of a rich quality to his voice. And
Mm.
then when you did him, you gave him kind of this aged, rougher kind of like in the early scenes, a lot of power, and then in the later scenes, as he's been separated from the world so long and stuff, kind of a weariness to it. And I really liked
Yeah.
it. But it surprised me. It wasn't the take I was expecting, and it was kind of neat to have that feeling of, okay, I created this thing and I have it in my head. Then this other person comes along with their take on it. It's like, you know what? That works really good. We're gonna go with that. So that's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
so interesting because that was like I don't remember, but I found that like I decided that that was gonna be my take pretty quick before the audition. Like that was where I was like, I mean, if you're playing the god of all gods, you gotta go big. But yeah, no, I it's actually interesting that you say that because I did. Like listening back to the recordings, I feel like I did really maintain this like gradient of the first, introduction is much more powerful, full voice, and then as it gets further in, like into those final scenes, he slowly becomes a little more aged, a little more gravelly, and a little more just like more humanistic tone rather than this grand like overseer.
Yeah.
Which is funny that yeah, we found that.
That's awesome. Um, was there anything in there that, like, you were specifically wanting to get across about either of those characters? Like, was there something that you, like, keyed in on as kind of like, "Okay, this is the keynote that I wanna hit."
Um, I think with Gaudry, and as of the time of us recording this, you still haven't heard my my final takes for it, so I may get feedback and have to change it a bit. But like for Gaudry, like I don't know. I honestly, the most difficult scenes for me was the scene in the rain when he has to yell, because I almost have this thing going in the recordings right now where he kind of, when he has to take on that king role, maybe it's sort of like a self-preservation thing. He takes on a bit of a different voice quality. Like he
Mhm.
almost plays the character of the king while he has to. And then
Yeah.
when in those beautiful scenes when he's talking to Letitia, his daughter and stuff, he is a little more soft-spoken, and I really love that about him, like being able to play that gradient of this man who has these two warring sides of him, and one that he very much wants to live in, and the other one that he has to. Um, and then I got lost in my own monologue there. What was the original question specifically?
I think it was I was just asking kinda like if there's anything you were really looking to get across, and I think that absolutely answers it, that you
Yeah,
wanted to hit that dichotomy, that kinda like,
yeah,
double perspective.
yeah. And
That's
then for
that's cool.
Yeah, just super quick for Phasia, on the other side of that was what I've been trying to do is kind of explore like that, he is this being outside of all of time and everything like that, but that he is very merciful and very kind and understanding, and that he carries this sort of sadness because he loves what he's created, but he understands how far it's gone out of his hands, how he can't really control it anymore, and how he just kind of has to do what he can to preserve the good that's left.
Yeah. Like, I haven't heard your take on the, like, I heard your audition takes on him, but I haven't heard your
Yeah.
final take yet on his last scene with Curiosity, and I'm
Mm,
really curious to hear your take alongside of the actor who plays Curiosity, named Udwak Inyang. I
okay.
just interviewed him yesterday, and he really enjoyed doing that Curiosity role. And I'm very curious to hear the two voices doing a counterpoint to each other, because that particular scene, like you said, it's that illustration of the child curiosity talking to the father almost, in Faeja experiencing this moment as a loving God who loves his creation, but is also kind of at the same time repulsed by it because
Yeah.
it's degraded so far. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm very excited to hear. It's been very interesting having to record it and like trying to do some alternate takes and not knowing what anybody else is doing for these characters. And so yeah, it's interesting to act in that kind of like, I mean, fits for Phasia within that void sort of this is just the character raw as they are, and seeing how it ends up blending with everything.
yep. If I do another one of these projects, I would like to try to get some of the actors able to record, even if they're just like over a Zoom call or something, doing their recordings individually, but so that the other person can hear the takes. It would be
Mm,
nice. I didn't want to do that for this one because I didn't want to put the extra pressure on you guys of having all that scheduling to work out.
for sure. Yeah.
But if I do it again, I think I'd like to try and find at least some of the key conversation moments where I can make that happen.
Yeah, or even like a read through almost, or something to give everybody an idea of what they're doing, like
Mhm.
everybody else is doing. Yeah, just having that play. No, I
Exactly.
totally get the scheduling thing. It would have been really hard at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year for everybody to meet up. So good call on that one.
I feel like I would have been imposing a huge amount of extra work on people, and it didn't feel fair. But
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
so if there was any other role in the production that you would have been like, I would have liked to play that one. Were there any that struck you?
Uh trying to think. You gave me some pretty baller roles. I can't complain. Um I think Ingwe is super interesting, but I truly, and even when doing the auditions, kind of like because I also auditioned for Ingwe, and I did a bunch of different takes. Even when I was doing them, I kind of in the back of my heart was like, I'm not the right one for this. as great as he is, and as amazing as these observations he has, and this infatuation with Gaudry and everything. Um, yeah, that's one of the most. I mean, obviously, main character, one of the most interesting
Yeah, that
characters
one
for
was
me for
tough.
sure.
I went through a lot of auditioning processes with that one. Like, after a while, I kind of felt bad because I was having people do multiple reads for it and then not
Yeah,
winding up hiring them. I was like, dude, I'm just like wasting all these people's time, and got frustrating for me on that level. But I think I eventually found somebody. I haven't gotten his finished files yet, also, but I think I did find somebody who's going to be able to do a really good job with it. So,
so I can't wait to hear it. I'm very excited because I really love those final. Even though it's a lot of just me talking, I do really enjoy those final scenes between Ingwe and Faeja, where they're just having, and Faeja is like giving these little, basically final gifts, these final little boons to him, as sort of his own, not one of his creations, but this one of the only beings that he can really see is truly good amongst what he's created.
yeah,
So I really
absolutely.
enjoy those. Can't wait to see how they turn out.
Yeah. So, moving away from this project, have you done anything else in the past that you can point to and be like, I'm really happy with this thing I did that you'd like to share with people or recommend to people?
As far as like projects that are out there, I'm pretty early on in my career. Um, so that people could find, I mean, the first ever like real voiceover project I did, I wouldn't sit here and say it's my absolute best work because it's my first, but I did a fan project for a Dungeons very popular Dungeons& and Dragons show called Critical Role, where we,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, we adapted the musical Dear Evan Hansen to tell a huge piece of the story arc in one of their seasons. And I play one of the lead narrators in that. I got some beautiful monologues in it, but the production on the music in that is really incredible. And
Oh,
for
that's awesome.
anybody who's fans of any of that, or of Dear Evan Hansen, you want to hear a weird take that you won't understand much at all, go check it out because it's just a lot of fun. And the people that did the singing on it were very talented. It's a really great group.
Cool. It's really cool. And do you have anything coming up, like any projects in the works or?
Um, Yeah, I work in the film industry here in Canada, so like I've got some short films coming up in the future this year. I'm working on writing some of my own and stuff, so those like I can't give any names or anything yet, but I'll be
Okay,
involved
yeah,
in a lot of projects and stuff coming up this year and next year for sure.
good for you. That's awesome. Do you have any kind of like social media or personal website or anything that is related to your acting that people could look you up on?
Yeah, I don't have a personal website yet. I gotta get on that. But my main thing that I use that I post like sort of like voiceover bits on for like readings of Shakespeare sonnets and stuff like that is my Instagram, which is pretty simple, pretty bland. It's just the underscore Sam underscore Edgecomb, and Edgecomb is EDGCOMB. No
You know,
extra E's or B's in there. But yeah, that's mainly what I use. That's what I'm most active on, and that's where I post most of my film related stuff, most of my acting related stuff. All goes through there. Yeah.
very cool. And in closing, I'll just throw out a couple like little get to know you questions that people might have fun hearing. So, you're an actor. Who is your favorite actor that you look up to that you enjoy?
Oh boy. Huge fan of Bill Murray, Robert Downey Jr., uh great old ones like Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin's probably my biggest hero when it comes to filmmaking and acting. So those are the simple answers I'll give right now. I could go on for hours.
That's quite the range, though. Charlie Chaplin to Robert Downey Jr. spans a lot. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Favorite book or story?
Favorite book or story? I am like the only person in my family. I'm the middle of five kids. I'm the only one who was not a huge reader. As hard as I tried, my attention span struggles
Fair
with it.
enough.
But I really loved reading classic old fantasy like Le Morte d'Arthur, the Arthurian
Oh, sure.
legends. I'm reading Beowulf right now, which is fantastic. I love epic poems like Rime of the Ancient Mariner, that sort of stuff. Those are some
Yeah,
of my favorite stories for sure.
nice. Well, I mean, if you're gonna not be a huge reader, those are some pretty good ones to get
Yeah,
in there anyway. Like,
yeah.
favorite movie?
Favorite movie. Ooh. I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan. So Grand Budapest Hotel, Royal Tenenbaums, I could watch time and time again, never get tired of. As well as I'm a huge fan of like Asian cinema, and so the movies of Wong Kar-wai, In the Mood for Love, Chungking Express, absolutely beautiful. Those are some of my favorite movies right now. And Portrait of a Lady on Fire because it's beautiful.
Okay, well, it was wonderful to meet you, man. It's cool to like
Yeah,
put a voice and a name, or a voice and a face to just the electronic messages we've been exchanging on backstage. So
absolutely.
yeah,
That
it's
was a
good
pleasure
talking, and
meeting you.
you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Have a great one.
All right, thank you.
The whole of our realm is gripped in famine. Blight! Men are starved, eating rats and dogs. You have chosen a poor time to launch this madness. You find me on a day when my soul is dark, and I have little mercy. Just a word. Just a word, and the blood, and the mess, and it's over. No more. Just an end. I'll never try again. Just a word. I forgive you. I warn you, sir. I am in no mood to be addressed. I stand upon a knife's edge, and your death lies on either side. Mercy does not come easily.